Hi everyone, Tim here with TC Home Inspections. Today's topic is actually video number 2 of common insurance claims made by homeowners. And there's actually 6 that the insurance industry keeps track of very closely because they're most commonly reported by homeowners. And even though I talked about the first 3, I'll just go through them as a continuation to get into this video. But the first one we talked about is water intrusion, the roof and the roof decking materials, and also foundational concerns. So those are the top 3 items for insurance claims by homeowners. But on this video, we're going to be talking in a little bit more detail about 4, 5, and 6, and they are mold, they are plumbing, and they are waste systems. So we've talked about mold a little bit on other videos, but the main thing to know when you're doing your due diligence before you buy the next property, you should always have information about 2 locations of the house, because these 2 areas of the home in most cases are where you're going to find mold problems. The first one is the attic space. That area directly underneath the roof deck. Attics will have common moisture issues. It can be nothing more than a roof leak, or it can be moisture in the attic caused by lack of proper ventilation or insulation. So those things should be evaluated. And then the other second component of the home that is really an area for mold and moisture problems would be the foundational areas. Crawl spaces and basements, for example, we commonly find mold issues in those particular areas. So mold is important. Make sure those 2 components of the home are looked at by your property inspection company or by you so that you fully understand their condition. The 5th most common insurance claim by homeowners is plumbing. Now, we're not talking about a plumbing leak per se. However, we're talking about plumbing materials. What plumbing materials should you have in your new purchase? Well, there's 2 that the insurance companies say are problematic, and we can back this up because we've seen them and they are problematic in what we do as well. And in our service area, there's 2 that come to mind that you should know about. First of all, if you're buying an older property, an older home, just know that years ago, it was very common to have galvanized pipes. Over time, the issue with galvanized pipes is they become calcified inside due primarily to hard water deposits. And when that occurs, the inner portion of the pipe is restricted, which means you could have reduced water flow. And in some cases, we've actually seen this, the pipes can burst due to increased water pressure. So galvanized pipes for that reason are no longer used in new construction. The other piping material or plumbing material that you should avoid is a material that's plastic in nature. It's actually one of the first generation plastics that were approved for construction, and it is called polybutylene. Polybutylene can burst at any time. Nobody knows when that's going to occur, and for that reason, it is no longer allowed to be used in new construction. So those are the 2 plumbing materials before you buy that next property you should get information about. In a perfect world, your home should have neither in the home at all. So, and the last thing I'll say about plumbing concerns is, over the years, insurance companies, because they know how problematic these 2 materials can be, they've actually kind of dialed down on these, and they won't even insure some homes that have these 2 materials in them. So certainly for that reason, not to mention the failure rate of those materials, you should have information about them. And then the final 3, the 6 most common insurance claim people make by homeowners would be the waste systems. Now, we've talked about this in other videos, but it's just suffice to say, in this video, I'm going to break it down with just the 2. And just keep in mind, it is all about the fact that you should have systems that are underground, regularly serviced. And you should obtain that information before you buy that next property. So what am I talking about? If it's in a rural setting, you will probably have a septic system which contains a tank and a field of some kind. Those 2 components must be understood before you buy that next property. You should get, at a very minimum, you should get detailed service records from the seller so that you know those systems have been maintained. And when I say maintained, if it's a septic system, the EPA says they should be pumped every 4 to 5 years. In reality, it comes down to usage. How many people are living in the home? what's the usage like, and you should know that those systems have been maintained. The other system you should know about is in the city setting. In a rural setting, it's septic, but in a city setting, it's going to be a sewer line. That sewer line should be, in our service area prior to 1980, should be thoroughly looked at because it is probably clay and iron. When clay and iron are used, they can leak, and when they leak, they can attract tree roots, and tree roots are the #1 issue to both types of waste systems, whether it be septic or sewer line. So you should really get as much information as you can. And in both cases, whether it be a septic or a sewer line, if the homeowner cannot provide that information, it is always a good idea to have your inspection company evaluate those waste systems before you buy that home. They can be very costly to repair, and for that reason, they should be fully evaluated before you buy that next home. So just know this, those systems are the most overlooked part of any property because they are buried, and we all are guilty of this. We tend to forget about things. Certainly if we can't see them, we're going to forget about them, and unless we keep some kind of record that these systems are cleaned and maintained regularly before you buy the next purchase, you should have them evaluated. So those are the top 6 claims made by homeowners when they're filing a claim with their insurance company. And before I end this video, I'm going to go right down that list one more time. So these are important because these are things you should know about too when you buy that next property. They are water intrusion, #2, roof, #3, the foundation, #4 is mold, #5 is plumbing materials, and #6 is waste systems. So when you set up your next property inspection or you do your next walkthrough on the next purchase you're about to make, get information about those 6 parts of the home, and hopefully you can avoid any problems in the future because you have gathered a lot of information, you've done your due diligence, and you feel good about your next purchase. Well, this is Tim with TC Home Inspections. I hope this is helpful. What I always try to do is provide content that the average day person can use when they're buying a home so that they can make an informed business decision, and hopefully they can save some money in the long run as well. So if you have any questions, let us know. I'd be happy to entertain any questions you have, any topics you have. And I tend to put things online that I get a lot of questions about. So if you like this, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and give me your input, and I would really appreciate your help. And I will see you on the next video.